On earth do you write to market if it takes years for your book to come out? My name is Gina. I'm an author, editor, publishing professional. I help you make your writing better. So this is a response to a video in which I was talking about how long it could potentially take to go from finished manuscript to book in your hand if you are going through traditional publishing. Not everyone's path is the same, but the answer is that could be like 1 year to 10 years, depending on a whole bunch of different factors. This commenter rightly points out, like, how on earth do you plan your career if that's the case? So first of all, just because your first book took a long time to get brought to market does not mean that the second book is going to take that long. In fact, oftentimes contracts are written with an option book in there, or they bought two books off of you, and so they are expecting you to turn something else in much more quickly. So it's rare that your second book is going to take as long as your first book did, unless your first book came out very quickly, and in that case, like, you're the exception, not the rule. You also have a team of professionals on your side this time, so you have an agent and an editor helping to guide the vision of this book, and so you are not going to flounder around, for lack of a better term. You will be a little bit more focused in your efforts. You will have professionals in your ear helping you to push something out that is more speaking to the market now. This is also why we advise authors not to try to write to the market. You don't want to write to micro trends. We're not saying like, "Ooh, you see a lot of pirate stories, you should write a pirate story now," because by the time you as a reader recognize what those trends are, it's too late. It's over. The ship has sailed. I didn't mean to do that with the pirate story there, but the ship has sailed. It's over. You can't catch that by now. Because the pirate stories that you are seeing on shelves right now were actually being sold to those publishers 2 and 3 and 4 years ago. So it's too late for you to jump on that trend. But if you are noticing, like, overall, we are seeing more stories that do this general thing, like, we don't really write flimsy damsel in distress stories anymore. Those are not selling the way that they were 50 and 60 years ago. So, like, a very large, broad market general trend is what we are talking about when we say writing to market. When I advise people, like, you need to be reading new releases to understand what the market is doing, I do not mean you need to understand this micro trend of naming every character Bastion that we had for like a year there. What I mean instead is you cannot just be reading books from 250 years ago and trying to emulate that story style. We need you to be writing to the readers who are buying books now today. And that's a very broad, very general sense. You don't need to worry about fads and micro trends. Those are impossible to predict. And sometimes we don't even know that they happened until it was over.